Okay, Assalamualaikum. For the chapter 7, IMS656, so we look into managing application and data resources. So this is the continuation of last week topic. So enterprise application is application that widely used throughout the organization, and it can integrate the operation of many different department and function. Okay, for example, like UiTM Kelantan or UiTM, we have several subsystem. Okay, for example, SIM is used by both a lecturer and also by student. So lecturer use SIM to enter your mark, and those mark will be processes, okay, to give student their CGPA and also GPA. Student can use the same system to register a new subject for the forthcoming semester and etc. So that's what we consider as enterprise-wide application. Okay, in terms of private institution. So usually enterprise application involves several departments such as marketing department, acquisition department, administrative department, and etc. And others like such as email. So the most used enterprise application would be email. You can also have directory services and also ERP, enterprise resource planning. So email, I think everyone know what is email. So it's a writer message that is sent and received over electronic communication system. So advantages of email: the receipt can deal with the communication at their convenience, allow for collaborative online work, and create virtual paper trail. Okay, for example, like the Google Mail, you can look or you can overseas the paper trail from one email to another email. Can easily include additional reference material. You can make the attachment, okay, either directly via the email or via the Google Drive, and delivery is virtually immediate. Okay, however, you must ensure that those email did receive the intended recipient. The disadvantages of email would be the message may be misinterpreted. Okay, because word sometimes has a different meaning to the receiver, and some people more comfortable with written communication. Greater risk of confidential communication getting wider distributed, because those email can be forwarded to others, make interaction impersonal or lead to confusion, and also why it is interactive, no complex discussion or involve issue. So that among the disadvantages of using email for communication. Okay, a little chance of communication being lost. Allow the recipient to scan the material to find the pertinent information. It's virtually an anytime anywhere solution. You can send email and receive email anytime, 24 hours per day. And message can be added or removed easily. Con, because it's so convenient, it can actually be overwhelming, even leading to over communication. Okay, for example, if you are doing a conference and you are receiving submission via email, so it will become overwhelming. Okay, sometimes if you have 100 or 200 participants, they are sending email, and then they will send correction of their paper. They need to update the presenter and so on. So it will lead to stress because of over communication. So email versus phone call. So email is often the fastest as and most efficient method of making an exchange of information. Okay, however, for the phone call, as you know, can be faster. Okay, but the information exchange is not recorded because you only call the recipient, and all the discussion is not recorded unless you record the conversation. And phone call are not informed that lead itself to re-evaluation because it's only one way communication or one way method. And phone call are not appropriate for all exchange because the length of some material, And voicemail doesn't lend itself to lengthy message. You have limitation in terms of voicemail, and email can be quite long and very detailed in its content because the receipt can scan the message. So that's the differences whether you want to use email or you want to use phone communication. So it's all depend on the nature of the interaction, the nature of the communication. So quality of email communication, you must make sure that keep it brief, make the subject line count. You need a subject line, you make a title that is appealing to the user, or title that easily be understand whether those email is very important or it's just for notification only. And reply to all email that expect one. So if anyone or anything that require a response, you need to give your response if as fast as possible. And differentiate to and CC recipient. So two would be the one that will be answering the email or receiving the email, while CC is really the one that will oversee the whole conversation or communication. And use the reply or button with extreme caution. Okay, only use reply to all button if you think that everyone in those address need to know about the response. And you also need to spell check all email. You can use Grammarly or any kind of software that can check the grammar of your email. When stressed or anger, don't hit the send button. Okay, because sometimes you can resend the same email many times. Choice of email product to ensure industry standard, to ensure message interoperability with other product, you can use microsession or IBM Lotus Note. Okay, for example, at UiTM, so we used to use Lotus Note. However, nowadays we are using the one from the Google Suite. Also, you have Internet Message Access Protocol or IMAP. So it's a client-server environment that allow the view and manipulate email while it stay on the server. You also have POP3. This is something that are related to email management. Okay, so POP3 store and forward environment make it held until the server on the server until connect and download to the workstation. Also, we have Mime. That one for the non-text messages, graphic, audio, so that they can be sent over the internet. So all these three protocol to ensure that you have the interoperability of your communication, mean that one device can understand what are the messages that currently being transmitted from another devices. You need to have a common standard. Manage email, so junk mail. So you have email package to identify the source. You need to have anti-spam and help desk and so on. Okay, harassment. So must have clear-cut policy from senior management. Must work with legal and human resource department to define it. And also for the virus, so you should have antivirus software and email server that scan message and their attachment. And data size and retention, because really when you are doing or you are using an organizational email, you have a limitation on your server, so you need to have the policy on the data size that you can send email, and how many days or how many hours or how many weeks that those data or those email will be retained on the server before it being deleted. And also for the appropriate use, most organizations expect and tolerate on non-related work messages as long as they are not oversized and non-content offensive email. Okay, however, nowadays only email that are related to work, okay, should be sent to the whole organization. If the email is quite personal and will take a lot of space, so it should not be sent via the organizational network. And email archiving become a growing requirement. Okay, you need to archive those things because it will take a lot of space on your web server or mail server. Okay, so example of Microsoft Exchange Server. So this one for Exchange Server 2003, and this one would be Lotus Note 8. Alright, so next is directory services. So the goal of directory services is to reduce the administration, user burden, and security risks that can be associated with multiple ID. So nowadays we are moving toward single sign on or single sign password. Okay, for example, you can use your Gmail to log into separate application. Okay, in order to do that, you need to have an API. Okay, the one that develop the system need to have an appropriate API to identify themselves to the Google. So once you have those API and you integrate with your application, so the user, okay, or any kind of user can register with your application using their Google Mail. So that will save them a lot of time to remember a lot of password and also login credential. This one, okay, how you want to develop your directory structure. You can have object or directory entries, organizational unit, attribute, object, and also distinguished name. So example of the protocol X500, also LDAP. So this is a protocol that can be used to share resources in a network, in a local network. So Active Directory from Microsoft, we have Sun, Java system directly, E directory from Novell, OpenVMS, Red Hat, Tivoli directory, and Apache directory server from Apache. Okay, so this is among of the directory service choices. So the example of the Active Directory from the Microsoft automatically install whenever you are installing Microsoft server. This one for the Sun, and this one for the Novell, and this one for the OpenVMS, Red Hat for Linux, and Tivoli Directory Service Web Administrator, and this one is Apache Directory. So advantages of the directory structure: you can have a single username and password, reduce overhead through standardization, improve services, improve workstation security, and enable backup and restoration of the services, and also will lower your departmental cost. Mean that you can share resources. For example, let's say you need a different license for Microsoft Office. So by sharing resources, you just need one license, and then you can share the resources to all the computer or all the workstation in your organization. Enterprise resource planning. So this set of activities that company engage in to manage its resources across the entire enterprise. So usually one of the popular software that can be used for ERP is SAP. Okay, active from the Oracle, okay, SAP. So activities such as product planning, sales program, material, so all of these functions can be found within the module of ERP. So with ERP, your company can certainly have a single application and database for all its vital business function. So for example, it has a sales model, project management, task management, employee management, human resource management, payroll management, CRM, customer relationship management, vendor management, and also client management. So cost to implement ERP, it is costly because it is what we call it, a complete and integrated information system that combine the whole operation of your organization. Okay, so the biggest costs are the consultant that need to assist in the implementation. So the cost you need training, support, and also additional hardware. Major changes also required the way you are doing business, and changes in software related department function, organization, procedure, employee role, and also company operation. Okay, you need to suit your operation or your business activity or your daily activity to those of the ERP system. And decision for implementing ERP, so IT manager will always be part of the group of committee making decision. So ERP may be the single largest IT project because it will include all the major operation of your organization. So its success or failure made it the success or failure of many executive and also for department as well as your organization as a whole. Disadvantages, they have a very rigid structure. Okay, for example, you need to follow certain activity. If you don't follow the activity, so it will lead to some problem, especially insufficient number of data. And when there is an audit, so they will ask about the insufficient number of data. It also can lead to the garbage in and garbage out. Okay, and also you need to follow to rigidly follow all the flow that have been decided by the system. And sometimes you need more feature and function during installation, and also can drive up cost, cost to implement, cost of training, and etc. Application and data resources. Among the data resources include application, database, hardware, operating system, and so on. So managing the resources is critically important to the firm's success. And this thing will depreciate over time. Okay, it also caused by accumulation of functional inadequacy due to gradually changing business condition. Okay, you cannot use the same system for more than 10 or 20 years. You need to have some changes to those systems, some upgrade and so on. And maybe at certain point of time you need to completely upgrade or change or uh, turn or what we call it transfer into a new information system. Okay, also obsolete result from introducing business changes that reduce the appropriateness or value of current applicant or application. Okay, example, combining labor accounting activity with manufacturing plant work in process inventory system make the previous labor accounting system obsolete. So you need to make a new or upgrade your current application in order to support the new function. Maintenance, so cost of maintaining, enhancing, and improving application program are mostly personal related and usually increase with time. Okay, sometimes when you have a new function or you need to turn into a new function, you need to contact the vendor, or if you can do it yourself, so it will reduce the cost. However, if you don't have the capacity or capability to do it, so you have to rely on the consultant. So data resources database used by application program also among firm essential asset. Okay, as we discussed during the DRP, disaster recovery planning, you need a way to protect the data resources. You need a way to backup these data resources. Okay, etc. You can read this one on your own. So why application maintenance very costly? So the programming technique used in the original are obsolete. Okay, for example, let's say you are using PHP. Okay, and then you need to move from MySQL to MySQL. So you need to make changes to all the code that you are currently using. Okay, for example, right now we are using PHP 8.0. So there are certain code they are no longer supported in PHP 8.0. So you need to make changes to those code. And documentation is also obsolete. Many uncoordinated modification has been made. The code was written in old version, language, unskilled programmer made enhancement, and etc. So as a conclusion, the application portfolio and database are large, important assets for modern firm. They are even more important in today's e-business climate, so that senior executive must participate in portfolio management because this asset represents significant challenge and unique opportunity for the firm. So successful portfolio management is also a critical success factor for IT managers. So I think that's all for now. So as usual, please put the summary of today's topic into the comment section. And see you in the next class. Assalamualaikum.